everyone, hope you're having a good day today. This is Mrs. Dallas. I'm going to teach you today about how to plant potatoes. So first of all, I have a couple different varieties. I have these red Norlands. They have these funky eyes. And you can hear that, that's just tennis being played next door. I got some red Norlands. I have these purple Majesties, and you're going to see why they're called that in just a minute. I have some, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce these, but Kennebec potatoes. And some of them have eyes, and then some of them need a little bit more time. And then I also have some Yukon Gold potatoes. And these are all going to be grown, and they'll probably be harvested. They take about 100 days to maturity once you put them in the soil. So sometime in kind of like the late summer, early fall would be a great time to harvest these. So the first thing you want to do is when you have, these are seed potatoes, and this is what's going to, you can see those little eyes, those are going to sprout into different groupings of potatoes. If you've ever harvested potatoes before, you have to kind of dig into the soil and unearth them. And these actually get pretty gross and slimy. So the seed potatoes are pretty gross by the time we're done. But what we want to do is cut them into chunks like I have here, so that you can get, each one of these will turn into a grouping of potatoes. So to get the most for your money, all I'm going to do here, and I'm going to focus on cutting, not on watching myself on the camera so I don't hurt myself. So I'm going to cut them off into like about 1 or 2 inch chunks. If you can see that here, where there is eyes. So I see like right there is a really good chunk where those are ready to go. That's a pretty good size one, right? That one's going to do really well for itself. And this one here has a pretty good size eye as well. Now the reason I want to do this the day before I plant is so that there's a little bit of a callus that can form, just like on your hands, or if you've ever cut succulents or jade plants, and so that they don't rot right away when you put them into the soil. These kind of have the texture of like a little bit of a dense sponge. They're definitely not as firm as you would expect, like when you like cook a potato like in the oven. These are a little bit softer. So this one right here, I'm going to try to cut that into thirds. You want to be careful. I'm just using like an old knife from my house. And I'll try to kind of splice together the video so you can see when I'm done what this all is going to look like. There's potatoes. Let's do some purple Majesties so you can see how gorgeous these are. I'm really hoping I can splice together a video from today doing this and a video tomorrow of me actually planting them, but we'll see how that can go. Might have to be 2 separate videos if you've ever seen me try to do technology things in class. So the purple Majesties are a little bit firmer than my red Norlands, and I honestly just choose potatoes. Look how beautiful that is! Oh, it's like a geode. It's very pretty. I like that purple a lot. And so I'm just going to go ahead and continue to cut these where the eyes are at. Until I have these different pieces here. Now potatoes like to be planted after the last frost. So we're like a little bit early right now, but I figured the spot that I'm going to plant them is right by the school. It's going to be nice and sunny and warm. You also don't want to plant them when it's too hot, because once the soil gets about 50-ish degrees or so, oop, looks like my camera's slipping. Oh well. When the soil gets above 50 degrees, they actually don't grow very well. So this is definitely a cooler weather one you can start in the early spring. So I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to cut my potatoes and have some fun. I also make sure that I had labels for them, so I have these like little stakes where I can label them and put them in the garden, and hopefully tomorrow I can show you how to plant them. A couple different ways you can plant them is in containers, like big burlap sack kind of things. You can grow them in your garden rows. You can grow them covered with straw. And I'll kind of show like the mounding technique that you use as the potatoes grow. You keep adding dirt to the pile, so it creates like this little mountain of dirt. Yep, I'm just cutting up these purple Majesties. So let's say, for example, you have a potato that doesn't have, let me find one here, doesn't have a lot of eyes on it yet. You can see that one here, no eyes on it. So I'm gonna let this one hang out here in the greenhouse just for a little bit longer so it can develop those eyes. You can also do this, you can just leave them on like a counter in a sunny spot, and the heat will kind of encourage them to start sprouting. But these ones, like, especially like these red Norlands, these are like ready to party. Like, look at those eyes, that's insane. It's like little legs, or like little faces. It almost looks like, some of these look like mohawks, actually. Like when you cut them. Like this one kind of looks like a mohawk. I don't know if you can see it or not. But, all right, well, that's all I'm gonna show you for today. And I'll hopefully splice this together with another video about how to actually plant them.